Welcome to the StockManor.com studios here in the Black Hills of South Dakota. I'm your StockManor Brian Johnson, making professional trading simple. And a slightly updated day, mostly flat, really, for the most part, and nothing to be, really too concerned about from the bear side of things. There wasn't. We were expecting a bounce, and this isn't really a bounce, in my opinion. It looks to me, if you're an Elliott wave person, like a pretty clear 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. I think there could still be a 5 wave down here. So I guess at first look, without having any more information than what I have in front of me, I would still expect this to be neutral to bearish as I change my opinion this weekend too. And still sticking with that, neutral to bearish on this market. Looking for a break below this 10,150 area to take us back to maybe the 10,000, maybe even a little drop below 10,000. We could possibly put in a hammer, get below 10,000, come back by the end of the day, something to that effect, to close above 10,000. But not really much to speak of. Really very flat on the market today. Just straight across. Still looks like what would be called a flat 4 at this point. We'll see if that makes any difference in the morning, depending on the news that comes out. There are a lot of places, or a lot of earnings coming out tonight. I think Apple is one of them, so I'm watching Apple to see if we get any kind of news on where it's going to go. But pretty clear 1, 2, looks like a 3, this looks like a 4, looks like there's still a 5 left to go down, and then maybe we start a bigger correction from that point forward. So at first glance, not much to talk about today, except, market's up about 5 points, Dow only up about 23, so it was still kind of the weaker, as is usually the case when we start to see a big bear market roll in. The Dow tends to fall down. Here we have 1, 2, 3 down with just this 4 kind of hanging sideways here. This is a potential reversal candle at this point, but still obviously no confirmation whatsoever today based on what we see. Still could see a little bit of a push down here. Reach these levels below 10,150, maybe to 10,100-ish, then on down to maybe 10,000 from that point. If we see another little drop down to kind of finish this, what would be maybe a wave 5 potentially. Still hard to count these, but looked pretty clear on a 60-minute that that's what we were looking at. So we get another push down below the 10,150 area. I would certainly be looking at the 10,000 area on the Dow as one of the more, I would say the most logical place to kind of drop to after that. The NASDAQ on a 60-minute, you can see it going sideways here as well. Here we have 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. This is 4 and a 5 down maybe. So we still could see a little bit of a push down, just waiting for a break below this 1790 area to really get more serious about that. 1780 is then the next level to watch there. Somewhere between 1776 and 1780 on that next drop for support. I'll be watching that level closely tonight based on Apple earnings and see if the NASDAQ futures are at all affected by that. It has not been the case in the recent earnings. We've had Google report. It came out. It dropped whatever it was, 20, 30 points overnight, and the NASDAQ futures did not really fall all that far with them. So it may or may not make any difference to the actual overall move of the market, regardless of what the tech stocks report. NASDAQ, though, more importantly to see, we are still below this line here. This was just a really, really deep move by the bears. A very good start for them if they're going to try to keep this bearish action up. They have a brilliant start on this now, putting in what could, as I said, potentially be a reversal candle here, but no confirmation yet. So waiting for a little bit of a push above this 1820 mark to even start to think about a potential little bounce here in the markets. NASDAQ on a weekly, you can see it first day of the week, not going to worry about it, but holding nicely below this level here. That's about 1820-ish or so, 1850 to 1820-ish up here is that line. SPX on a 60-minute, same thing, 1, 2, 2, 3. This looks like a 4. This looks like a kind of a bear flag forming here. We'll see if we get a harsh move down, but looking for a break below 1090 before I'm ultimately going to call this a confirmed maybe wave 4 here. Then I'm looking to maybe the 1085 level. That goes back to, if I move to the daily, this 1085 goes right back to this lower level here, and that was where we started this major trading range between 1085 and about 1115. Those were approximate ish the levels we had been watching. So that is obviously the first level I'm watching to see if it'll break 1090 and just stop at 1085. Does it pause there? Does it wait there? Does it eventually break down from there? That is really going to be, I think, a heavier level to watch. If you want to take a very defensible short, you can, or a long even, you could try for a bounce off the 1085, but I'd have a very tight stop right below it. You can play for a little bit of a short below 1085, but once again, I'd have a very tight stop above it and just see where it plays itself out to. Below 1085, I'd be looking for this 1075-ish area right back in here, one of these two levels here. SPX on a weekly, it's only Monday, so really hard to tell at this point. We'll wait until we get a little deeper into the week to start making an assessment on that. VIX pulled back today, but you can see the huge run-up by the VIX last week. In 2 days, it cleared a lot of ground, about 10 points in the VIX in 2 days. Today, only down about 2. So, yes, a little bit of a pullback in the VIX, but not to any great degree, and it would make sense. We were up today, but we weren't really up all that much. So we might see, if we see a little further pullback here in the VIX, that will lead to a little bit of the fear starting to subside again. I think at this first glance, there might be a lot of marketeers that are waiting to see if the bulls are going to step back in and drive this thing back up. I know I personally am. I'm still neutral to bearish on this market, but always, always, always cautiously playing things to the downside at this point, just because of all the times in the past that we've seen this, only to get run back up again. Here it is on a weekly. Obviously, it's only Monday. We'll see where this looks come Wednesday, Thursday time frame. Apple, the interesting Apple. All right, so we've seen a big move down in Apple from 215 all the way down to 197. That's a very major move coming into earnings, and as of right now, it appears things must have went well for Apple. It's up in the after hours.